All right. Well, since we're trading some funnies,
Yeah.
I got one. Now, warning, this was many years ago. This wasn't 2 weeks ago or something like that. We have all since gotten cleaned up and recovered and in church. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But back in the day, we did like to party some. And one night, I was drinking in excess as I normally would because it's nighttime. I'm nighttime, and I'm down here watching wrestling. I'm watching Monday Night Raw, and I've had about 26
Cold
Budweisers.
A little bit heavy.
And it's getting about time for bed, so I'm going to take the dog out. Let her do her bathroom business here, and I'm going to enjoy one or two menthol cigarettes and head back into the house and call it a night, right? So as I'm walking outside, and I do this every night,
Yeah.
And I'm doing this before bedtime. I'm about to go to bed here in about 30 minutes or, maybe even less than that. Well, I'm on at the time, a doctor prescribed medication.
Yeah.
Which basically it doesn't make me go to sleep, but it just kind of keeps me asleep.
Sure.
And I got prescribed it, a long time ago. And so now in retrospect, that's a terrible idea to mix a sleep aid, after you've had 26 Budweisers. So, but every night I would do it. Every night I would do it because that's what the doctor wants me to do. I think I didn't tell him, hey, by the way, I have 26 Budweisers. And not tell him I do this too. But anyway, terrible combination. Well, it's like a timed release medication. So you've got, like Lori's beef stroganoff, you've got about 30 minutes and it's going to start. It's going to start. So I'm already, guys, I'm sorry. I'm drunk. I am drunk every night. Back then, years ago. And so I'm going out to have another cigarette, one or two cigarettes here, and I want to take care of the dog, and then I'm going to bed. And it's pretty much about that time when this medication turns on. And I feel like I've got it down to a science.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out there with the dog, and where I'm living at the time is in the middle of the country. And there's no street lamps.
Yeah.
It's trees.
Dark.
It's trees in a yard, and you've got the light of the moon and some stars for your light out there. And so I'm taking the dog around the corner, and I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh my God, no. And I've got a pit bull. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
She's going to try to attack whatever this creature is.
Yeah, foreign object.
It was a skunk.
Oh.
And so right when I pull focus, I'm like, oh God, it's a skunk. And so I don't want sprayed. I don't want my dog being sprayed.
Yeah.
I don't want us being sprayed. And if my dog goes after this skunk, we're both getting him.
Oh, you're done.
And so I tried to leash her in. I tried to grab her, and it was on. Once she's seen something with two eyes and four legs, and she's going after it.
Oh gosh, bro.
And I remember jumping back, and all this happens within 1 second.
A nanosecond, yeah.
All this happens within 1 second. And it startled me that there's a skunk. I'm about to get sprayed. My dog goes after the skunk. I try to reach for the leash. All this happens in a second. Next thing I know, I have tripped over a landscaping rock that's about this big. I've tripped over this landscaping rock, and I go face first into another landscaping rock that's about this big. I was concussed. It knocked me unconscious we can laugh now, but just for 3 or 4 seconds, this was pretty scary.
Yeah.
I hit this rock face first right here, and it knocked me unconscious. And I'm laying there for about, my world completely blacked out for about 3 or 4, 5, 6 seconds. And then I come to, and I'm laying there, and I see the side, and I'm like, there's pine bark like in my face in the landscaping. And I'm feeling around, and I feel the rock, and I'm going, oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay, and I can't stand, because I've had 26 Budweisers. And guess what? The nighttime medication has kicked in, and I am laying here like Hulk Hogan has just kicked me in the side of the face. And I'm like, I literally can't move. I'm my brain's working now.
But not.
And I'm not hurt. I know I've got all my feeling, but I'm like, no, guys, literally, I can't get up from this spot. And the alcohol and the nighttime medication is just closing in. It is a wrap. It's mixing, man. And I'm like, okay, I can't move. This is crazy. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. My dog's gone. My dog's gone. And I've got to get my butt up to find my dog and get in the house before this 1000% takes over and I fall asleep here in the landscaping mulch and risk going unconscious again. And I am trying to roll. If I can just get some momentum going, I can get up. And I finally was able to get up. And I'm like, holy cow, the world's spinning. It's still black outside. And I find my dog rather quickly, thank God. And I go back inside. And I'm just like, holy God, that was so close. And I go to the mirror and there is this huge gash down. Oh, we got sprayed by the skunk.
Oh, yeah. So say, what about the skunk? Did you get sprayed by the skunk?
Not 100% spray, but we caught a little bit.
Oh.
He let us know. He checked us just a little bit. And this whole side of my face is just gushing blood. And I go inside and the medicine and the beer, guys, don't do this. Don't live like this. If you need help, call us. We'll help you.
Don't try this at home.
Don't live like this. And I'm like, I was now so tired. You can't keep your eyes open and you just go to bed with your clothes on. And the dog's, and she's good. I'm just going to bed on top, just complete pass out drunk. This is what you do every night when you're an alcoholic. This is kind of, now this is out of the normal, just slightly. Sure. And I remember seeing all the blood and I'm just like, I'd deal with it tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. Maybe it'll clot up. And I just pass out.
With 26 Budweisers running through your body.
And so I wake up the next morning and the pillowcase is sticking to the side of my face because of all the blood. And I'm looking at now I'm awake. And once I wake up in the morning, kind of sometimes it takes you a little bit to wear off the hangover, in the morning. But I live so far away from the place. I'm fine when I get there because it's an hour drive, hour and 5 minutes, and then plus all the coffee I drink. And so I'm looking at these gashes are still here. And I'm like, well, I've got this 5 o'clock shadow. And I'm like, well, what I need to do is I need to shave. That way I can, really attend to the wounds here and get some antibiotic and get some Band-Aids over it. I should have just left it alone, showered, got all the dry blood out of the beard, because it would have covered the wounds. Well, I shaved, thinking I was doing the best thing. That way I could get the wounds cleaned up and taken care of. And, once I shave and get the wounds cleaned out, it's not going to be that bad. And just cover it with a Band-Aid. No one will be none the wiser. That's not the case. When I'm shaving, it reopens the wounds.
Oh, gosh.
So now I've got a clean shaven face and these fresh wounds that are just bleeding through. And so I go to work at the place that we worked out, and we had a couple of caregivers that were LPN, licensed, what is it, LPN? Licensed physicians.
No, well, they're a nurse. It's just, I guess, it's RN and then LPN is a step below RN, I guess.
Well, I know that they've got what are they called? Stutures?
Yeah, or the butterfly Band-Aids or whatever.
That's what I wanted. That's what I didn't quite need stitches, maybe one or two, but I knew Shana had some of those stitches. And so I go to Shana, and we'll tag you, Shana. I go to Shana, and I'm like, Shana, can you take care of this? She was like our head LPN, our head med tech. And she looked at my face and she goes, what the heck did you do last night? And I'm like, just nothing. It's just give me the Band-Aids, man. I just need some of that industrial strength Neosporin that you got and a couple of those sutures and I'm good. And she's like, you were drinking again last night. You fell into something, didn't you? And I'm like, no, what?
Maybe,
no.
But no.
So you got the Band-Aids, but anyway, it was so hilarious. And then she's giving me the Band-Aids, and she has like this serious talk with me just for a second, and she was like, Michael, seriously, we care about you. You got to get some help. And I told her the story, and she's like, you were drunk. You were drunk as a skunk, literally. I haven't seen a skunk. And I'm like, not really. No, not.
If I hadn't taken the nighttime medication,
I just had a couple, And she's like, you need to get some help.
Listen, I'll say that.
And these girls partied hard themselves. So for them, she probably came from a rave the day before, and you're
straight from work. It was ending, and they rolled right into the community.
Your makeup and eyeliner still glowing in the dark. You just came from a rave, and you're telling me to go get help.
Michael you look like Bradley Cooper. Like every morning coming into the community, you look like Bradley Cooper in The Hangover. The next day when he's got his hair slicked back and he's just like, gosh, what did we do last night? That's how Michael seemed like he walked into every morning at the community. And he'd have his coffee, he'd have a cigarette in his lip.
No, I never smoked there. I never smoked.
Only on the outside.
Never smoked there. Just on the way there, just 1 or 2 menthols to get the day fired up.
I did see you in the car though. I'm like, oh, Michael, it was good. It was we had a fun time. We had a good time.
We worked hard.
Yeah.
But we played hard too.
Yes, we
worked hard.
We did. I mean, as for all the
we
stories,
worked good. We were always on point when we were there.
Yeah. I would say we only probably had a couple employees that did not, and they were probably caregivers, and those caregivers didn't stay long. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, there wasn't room for people not working hard because they
got a tough job.
Yeah, it's a tough job. I mean, and you can't be expecting other people to carry your weight, carry your water, and so we all worked hard. We all were pitching in. We all because we were all friends and we all worked together. We didn't want to let each other down. So. But anyway, it was
good times.
Oh, it was good times, that's for sure.
All right, we're going to wrap it up with what I entitled "The Boost Team Part 2." So we did a segment on the earlier video about the Boost Team, and we're just going to add, if you can think of any additional Boost Team stories, but I'm just going to try to better describe what the Boost Team was to us. So within the job you work at, you probably report to a corporate hierarchy. And you've got to have it. You've got to have some checks and balances within anything that you're doing. And so our community was what was called a focus community because we did have some lost revenue due to a lot of people that had moved out that were previously living there. And so corporate sent this team of folks to help find where we're missed revenue, missed opportunities for sales, missed opportunities for marketing, missed opportunities in how we can add more quality to the product, which is senior care, to what we're doing. And we had a great team of regionals that we reported to, but that top tier bunch above them, which was comprised of the Boost. So it was this conglomerate of suits, both men and women, that were going to bring their regional and vice president divisional
expertise,
knowledge to us to help us. And Jonathan was on it more so than I was. I was really kind of behind the scenes running things while you guys could get the training and go through the interrogations and the deep dives, as they called it. And so if you've ever seen the movie Anchorman.
Oh.
And I don't think I'd seen the movie Anchorman prior to this. So when Jonathan would go around talking about the Boost Team, Boost Team, Boost Team, Boost Team, those guys literally acted like that, as if they watched the movie and said, hey, we're going to go down to that place in Atlanta and we're going to act just like it to these guys. And it was just hilarious. But your sense of humor with the Boost Team is what carried Jason through it without having a heart attack, because they gave that guy a hard time. They shouldn't have, because he was the only thing keeping the community running and in the positive direction. But they added so many reports and deep dives to you guys, but it was just hilarious to finally see the movie Anchorman, and it really came full circle for me.
Well, and here's what they did to Jason, which was just so unfair. And everybody was trying to show how smart they were, which, they weren't that smart. And they just went over every excruciating detail. And not that they were trying to accuse you of doing anything wrong, they just made you question everything that you did. And it's like, well, why do you do this? Or why did you do that? Or why are you doing this? It's like, and 90% of it had nothing to do with, enriching lives of our seniors. And so it was just a constant battle of being second guessed and making you feel like, well, we don't know what the heck we're doing. And they're like, well, we know we can solve the world's problems. And it was just a constant battle, and rightfully so. I think they drove Jason to move on, because it was, I mean, honestly, I don't know how the guy put up with it. And it made me want to leave. I mean, I didn't want to, it was not fun. It was not, and so I had to bring humor to the situation, because that's the only way I sort of deal with adversity, is I bring some levity to it. But they would literally all pull in the parking lot, and they would not come in one by one. They would all come in together. Yeah. And I would see them out in the parking lot, and I would just start yelling, "Boost Team! The Boost Team's here!" And it was like a circus. And the only good one that we had that was in that upper was this lady named Carrie, and she's the only one that brought real sort of common sense to what we were doing.
I liked Tim. I thought Tim was cool.
Yeah,
and he actually went to the college down here from where I live.
I don't know. I didn't. All of them, pretty much except all of them, gave me a hard time except Carrie, and so I was just. I mean, it was just a constant. I mean, having to do a morning call every single morning to talk about the same leads over and over and over again. I mean, it was just a waste of. It was a waste of time. It was the hardest 9 months I have ever worked ever in my life.
9 months.
9 months. 9 months.
I feel like they dug so deep. I don't know. I mean, I'm thankful for all those people, but I think once you get into some of those upper tier categories within business, I think you kind of like lose a little bit of yourself, and you lose a little bit of the real problems at hand. The people, just the good old folks on the ground. You really lose touch with them, and I felt like sometimes in in the world of corporate, it's like you're grasping at straws to find reasons why things aren't working, especially in the world of sales. And it's difficult for the salespeople because these are the points I have, coach.
Yeah.
I got 25 points on this game. I scored 25 points. And if I could score 30, I would have scored 30, but I scored 25 because I scored 25. And when you get beyond the regional levels, they lose the math of that,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, in especially sales in community in a senior living community, yes, you have to have so many people that you see on a daily and weekly basis. You've got to be getting people in the community. Those are all things that are common sense. That's what you have to do. But there's also outlying circumstances that keep people from coming into the community, like the big event that happened at our community before I even got there, and I wasn't really privy to that information. If I'd have known that information, I probably would have dealt with things a little bit differently and approached differently. But they kept that close to the vest, and so it was just a constant battle of trying to really please them. And there was no pleasing them. You could not. It was like if you did one thing, then it was something else over here, and so on and so forth. So, but you're right. I think people, once they get to a certain level, I'm sure that from a managerial, they do things well, but they do lose. I feel like they lose touch with the folks on the ground, and the reason is because that sort of common sense of there's other things at play other than just a number on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, just for example, they wanted to add reports, thinking that would, bust out some hot leads or bust out some untapped resources, as they called it. Or you could fix the van that breaks down at the Dalton Pike intersection every Thursday. Or you could give us a new van. No, let's add some more deep dive calls. Let's add more regional visits. And let's make sure your guys' email signatures all match. And that type of thinking, that's counterproductive.
Yeah.
And it kind of insults the people's intelligence that are working there on the community level. But that didn't stop them at all. And so I think it was, and they had, maybe they were trying to be helpful, but it came across almost in a bully type way. Yeah, and that's what didn't sit well with anybody, and that's what wasn't helpful. But so when you were able to coin them the boost team from the Anchorman people, that was
boost
on hilarious. And
well, when you need to get people in your community, it's not about you've got to get other folks, people that are influencers in the community, and so you want to try to have events but at the time when we were doing this, we didn't have an activities director, so we couldn't invite other folks in, to do activities like, for during Christmas time, for example, when we would have, a local school, they would come in and sing Christmas carols to those are all things that get people in. We would do community events at our facility, and just different things to get people. Well, once you started the word starting, well, hey, they need to check out, such and such community. Well, once they got in the door, and I was good to go. I mean, I was going to close you down. But it was that rebranding that had to take some time in order to get folks in the door. And we'd get referrals from doctors' offices. Those were the sort of the easy ones because I'd been in that world before. But it was that constant drip every day where you would have somebody call or somebody ask about a referral or what, and we just didn't have that in the beginning. But the longer we were there, and they started fixing some things like getting a new van. Getting a new van, the common sense stuff, fixing our sign. Remember, our sign was not. I mean, you couldn't even see it from the road.
Getting new staff.
Oh yeah,
takes care of the people. I mean, those were. no-brainer fixes that they finally enabled you guys to take care of. And y'all did turn it around. Y'all eventually turned it around.
We started meeting with people that made case managers at the hospitals. That was a big one. We would provide lunch for them and just not necessarily we just go talk to them, and we were able to, they'd come, we'd invite them over to the community and get them to hang out for a little bit and on Thursdays and get that beef stroganoff.
I just thought of one. We're running out. I don't know how much time left I got on my memory, but we part of the boost team directives was some guy wrote a book. Some guy.
Oh yes.
He was some elder psychologist and he was like on Good Morning America or something. Well, he wrote a book about, what's the name of it?
I'm Still Here.
I'm Still Here. Who knows what it's about or why, but this famous guy wrote a book and he was on Good Morning America. So the company somehow talked this guy into coming down to our tiny little community and talking to the community leadership about why we're still here and focus and pillars of core values. I don't know, some stuff. And so you guys were a part of that. It was a big deal. And I was like, I'm going to stay back. I'm going to run everything back here while you guys can get this important thing. And then Jason's like, oh, thank God. Yeah, Michael, just run with it. Just take care of everything back here so we can just be a part of this meeting. And it was going to last like 6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like maybe like a seminar or something. And there were people from the outside, like a news person came and they were recording it. And then Jason's like, hey, they've got a big coffee order. They've got a big coffee order. And I was like, okay, I'm good with everything up to that point. What? They've got a coffee order and we got to have somebody that can go get the coffee. And I'm like, you know what? This is a special occasion. I'm sure. Okay. All right. And so I took my car because I didn't want the car to break down. But these people had, and I don't care to get coffee. You're not a great leader until you're a great servant. I don't care. I don't care. But it was like 2 sugars. One
pump of caramel, half pump of Java Express.
And I was like, 8. oh no, these coffees are a reflection of these people's personalities.
100%.
Which was persnickety and difficult
100%.
and unrealistic. And this list was, you got to be kidding me.
It was what, 10, 12 coffee orders? I mean,
it was like, if I ordered a coffee, if I'm like, hey man, just something with a good hit of espresso.
Yeah.
Maybe a shot of vanilla. No worries. Just give me a good espresso. I'm good. I can pretend it's vanilla in there. Yeah. These people's orders were off the charts. And so the Starbucks is really only 10 minutes down the road.
It took you like 3 hours.
I gave the lady the sheet of paper. Like, I'm not even going to read it to you, lady. Here, this is what they want. I'm sorry. I'm just going to sit over here and just let me know when it's done. And this was, we had cell phones, but not really.
Yeah.
And so, and Jason is the chief of this entire, so anything that we do wrong or it's on him.
Reflection on him, yeah.
And so I don't know if Jason called me or something, or it was after the meeting or something. But these people and this doctor was like, "Where's our coffee? Where's our Starbucks order?" And so I drove 10 minutes to the Starbucks. There wasn't much traffic. I was there in 10 minutes. But I had to wait 59 minutes for y'all's stupid persnickety order. And so I come back, and now I'm having to crate in 4 at a time, with the thing. And so I remember bringing in the coffee, and Jason's was like, help. Why did it take you 3.5 hours for this coffee? These people were dying on the vine for their crazy orders.
I remember they're like,
it's hilarious.
Where's our coffee at? And I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a pot in the back.
What y'all should have done is, before coming here, got your own individual persnickety order, and you could have had it immediately. But instead, like 10 minutes into the seminar, let's order coffee. Let's get some coffee to go.
And we sat back there in this room, and we all crammed in this table, and it was torture. I mean, listen to this guy talk. It was
corporate picked this most random apartment that did not have an air conditioner.
No air conditioner. It was in an old memory care. Jason and I had to clean it out and sweep it because it hadn't been in, and then we had to spray stuff in here to make it smell. I mean, it was so random and over the top that it was so counterproductive. I mean, it was the most counterproductive thing that we've probably done.
Hilarious.
But we did all get a copy, and so I still have my signed copy of I'm Still Here.
Well, Jonathan, this has been a hilarious second edition.
Absolutely.
Next time in the future, maybe bring that book and we'll kind of read a couple of excerpts.
Absolutely. It is it's a classic.
And during this broadcast, I actually got a text from somebody that says, I'm watching your show right now, laughing my butt out loud, talking about, and she even said to me, tell the story about the powdered donuts.
Oh.
So she's reading our minds from an hour away.
That's good.
Anyway, we're out of memory. We're out of time. We've been
enjoyed hanging with you guys
for a long time. And so we'll just think of a few more stories and we'll just come back soon. Next couple episodes coming up, we'll circle back on the topic of rehab and recovery. Those are all good things. So we'll add a couple of serious videos coming your way and maybe a couple more from the Bible College if people enjoy. I got a couple of requests from that. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all the great messages that are on Facebook. YouTube wants to see those messages and the conversations there.
Yeah.
It somehow helps the algorithm to make it a popular video so other people can watch it and enjoy and laugh as you enjoy your powdered donuts and your Diet Coke. Be healthy out there, and see you guys next time.
See you guys. Good stuff, bro.